of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, $140,000 public defender, Julie Cianca. My name is Chris Chichester. Today is Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. There are 6 Freedom of Information Law documents in here. 6. You have this information for the first 3. The number you're going to comply with is 0. So I point to you with the official finger of Brooklyn, New York. And since you're going to comply with 0 for information that you have, that's called corruption. You understand me? Psychopaths like the color red. That's why it's in red. So, Freedom of Information Law, Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. Documentation for the case for Christopher Chichester for John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Penfield Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? District Attorney Brian P. Green. You have this information. $113,000 Perry Duckles of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office and $140,000 public defender Julie Cianca sent this to me. Freedom of Information Law. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester with Paul C. Messer in Penfield Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? District Attorney Brian P. Green. You have this information. Perry Duckles of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office at $113,000 and $140,000 public defender Julie Cianca. Send it to me. Freedom of Information Law. Documentation of the case of Christopher Chichester with Alex Redzi in New York State Supreme Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? District Attorney Brian P. Green. You have this information. $113,000 Perry Duckles of Monroe County District Attorney's Office and $140,000 public defender Julie Cianca. Send it to me. So the next 3. District Attorney's Office has it, Sheriff's Office has it, and Penfield Town Court has it. And you know what I'm going to receive? Not a goddamn thing. Not a goddamn thing. Nothing. Not one document. Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. That's what I'm going to receive. That's corruption. Freedom of Information Law. Information about the grand jury convened by District Attorney Sandra Doyle to target Christopher Chichester. That is 1, the day, month, and year the grand jury is convened. 2, decide District Attorney's Office plead to address the grand jury. 3, the witness that testified to the grand jury. 4, the vote of the grand jury. 5, transcript of the grand jury proceeding. You have this information at the District Attorney's Office. Send it to me, Michelle Crowley, former director of the grand jury promoted. Freedom of Information Law. The issuance of a new check to Christopher Chichester, the address below an expired check, the amount of $61.39 for County Monroe Office of Sheriff and May Fund account. That's the dollar amount in pocket for Chichester when he's violently attacked the Penfield Public Library, 75904, which is even the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Todd Baxter has this money that is owed to me. The Monroe County Sheriff Office employees are copied on here. They're watching me at 3 minutes exactly. Send me the money. He's received this FOIL with the language I just read 50 times, easy. Could be 100 times. Federal Express, UPS, and USPS. Freedom of Information Law, the 6th and final one. The quote defective documents for the case of Dan DeLuster in Penfield Town Court with John P. Lomenzo Jr. You have this information. Paul C. Messer, $28,000 bald-headed widow in Penfield Town Court, and $34,000 James C. Money Jr. in Penfield Town Court. You released Jermaine Bettman, a violent psychopath. I'm going to be on here for 60 minutes only talking about you and Jermaine Bettman real soon, James C. Money Jr. So, you have it. Send it to me on this Tuesday, August 18th in Rochester, New York. Sheriff Todd Baxter, I'm going to tell you where I am. You send Richard Seaman over here. You tell him to run at me. Slam me in the head. I'll fall down. My head will hit the concrete pavement. And this is called violence that you embrace with the blue wall of silence. Sheriff Todd Baxter. So here I am right here, 270 on East. This is where I am, Sheriff Todd Baxter. So send Richard Seaman over here. Tell him to violently attack me, run at me. Slam his arm at the side of my head. I'll fall down. My head will hit the concrete pavement because that's what he did to me at the Penfield Public Library. And I wrote the criminal complaint that I'm going to read about him. It doesn't matter to you, Sheriff Todd Baxter, that your employee Richard Seaman violently attacked me. Just like it doesn't matter that your employee at Wegmans on Penfield Road violently attacked me. And I've been violently attacked in other places because of your Jonestown, Monroe County Sheriff's Office and where I've been delivered because of your Jonestown, Monroe County Sheriff's Office. And since I'm not going to violate my own privacy by talking about that right now, I'm not going to disclose that information. I'm going to have that in writing. And then when I send this to the appropriate regulatory authorities in Albany, New York, and Washington, D.C., I'm going to come here with that about how I've been violently attacked in other places because of you, Sheriff Todd Baxter. And it's going to humiliate me. But violence is violence. And how I'm being driven into some of these places, including one in Oneida County, Sheriff Todd Baxter. What am I doing in Oneida County because he used lunatic fringe, including at Livingston County? What am I doing in Livingston County where I was a witness to a violent crime and I had to give a statement about being a witness to a violent crime? All these repulsive, disgusting things that are happening to me are because of you, Sheriff Todd Baxter, and your repulsive, disgusting, vile, nauseating employees incapable of identifying a criminal act. So, I'll be out here 7, 8 a.m. tomorrow to go for my run. Tell Richard Seidman to wait for me. 270 on East. When I walk outside South Union Street, tell him to violate traffic. So what arrived on August 17th, because I went to the post office yesterday, August 17th, are the criminal complaints. Where I write, what is the status of the 5 criminal complaints I wrote for Richard Seidman, A. Rochelle, Kumar Shalor, Ryan, Antonio Spall, Michael? I think I've sent this 20 times, 30 times now, that exact same language. Freedom of Information Law. Todd Baxter, attached with 4 criminal complaints, July 22nd, 2023, to Richard Seidman, the Montgomery Sheriff's Office, walked in Pemberton Public Library in Pemberton, New York, ran Christopher Chichester, slammed his arm at the head of Chichester, caused him to fall backwards, hit his head and surrounding top floor, and A. Roger landed Kumar Shah, 2033 Pemberton, Pemberton, New York. False report is for Christopher Chichester, falling 26 seconds from drivers walked through a parking lot next to his residence. 3, and Torrance Spot, Fairport, New York, locked front and back to his residence, 26 seconds, driving down Pemberton, New York, without court order. Laura Rye, Webster, New York, transport personal belongings for Christopher Chichester, 26 seconds from driving Pemberton, New York, storage locked in Webster, New York, without a court order. I'm not going to read the rest of that. Perjury, criminal complaint. Criminal complaint for perjury, 73312 Michael C. Hoolan, the Montgomery Sheriff's Office, 73312 Michael C. Hoolan, the Montgomery Sheriff's Office, walked onto the private property, costing residents 26 cents from John Pemberton, New York, Christopher Chichester. Hoolan ran a Chichester approximately 1 a.m. at $85,000 down Benedetto Sheriff's Office. Chichester ran away from Hoolan and Benedetto unaware of identities. Chichester grabbed the hammer alongside the residence next to his bike, used to fix bike's tires. Chichester placed his foot on the first of 3 steps of the back porch. Hoolan grabbed his arm, the hammer, and Chichester's hands forced upwards. Chichester ran across his back porch through a sliding glass door. As Chichester never stopped running, it's possible to hammer at 73312 Michael Hoolan. As Chichester never stopped running, it's impossible to swing the hammer at 73312 Michael Hoolan. You repulsive, disgusting, sickening hack, Michelle Crowley. Why didn't you call me to the grand jury? Why don't you call me to your office for an interview? Why don't you just pick up the phone and talk to me? Because the truth, it doesn't matter to your subordinate, District Attorney Brian P. Green. Fire her. She's going to do this to other citizens. That's why, even though she's not at the grand jury anymore, but since she's been there since 2012, 15 years, almost 15 years, I think she has influence in a most disgusting, appalling way in that district attorney's office. So Sheriff Todd Baxter, you know what I don't have because of you being locked out? Because Antonio Spano took everything. I had to get it, my birth certificate. Here, you see that? Here's my birth certificate. July 4, 1965. Peggy Hennessy, William F. Chichester. I was born at Booth Memorial Hospital on July 4, 1965 at 11:58 a.m. when President Lyndon B. Johnson was in New York City. This birth certificate I had my whole life. It's gone because of Antonio Spahn and Laura Rye. 2 people took my birth certificate from me. I had to get a new voter registration card. That's because of 2 people. I had to get a new non-driver ID. I haven't driven here in Monroe County because when I moved to Washington, D.C., I gave my car to my sister. And you don't need a car to be in Washington, D.C. And you really don't need a car to be in Rochester, New York, even though it helps. It's not like Washington, D.C., but you can get around in Rochester, New York without a car. So I'm not here to talk about that. So over and over, you've received what I just read to you, the Freedom of Information Law, Julie Cianca, and Perry Duckles. I'm demanding information from you, like on this August 1, 2023, Julie Cianca, public defender, 10 North Fisher Street. I've repeatedly said the registered mail return receipt Freedom of Information Law that requires you to disclose the names on process. You refused by returning large mail envelopes to me. My address below on Park Avenue. This is corruption. You don't know it. Goes on. After 1,000 words, Julie Cianca, I'm telling you to disclose the names of my prosecutor silence August 1, 2023. Here's April 2nd, 2023, Julie Cianca. Silence at Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca right here. Mail the names of my prosecutor silence. The address below in Rochester. You don't read the 10 attached PDF documents. Resign. What the hell's wrong with you? Because you're in fear of the district attorney's office. That's why. You want to cut deals with these psychopaths and freaks. You want them to think that You're a team player at the district attorney's office. When you're the public defender, and you're supposed to oppose this Leviathan. So, the district attorney, Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles, public defender Julie Cianca, July 16th, 2026, just a month ago. I go on from here while I'm quoting from language from July 16, 2023. There's nothing from you. Then I write here, 1 month ago, what's not to understand? Taxpayers, subsidized civil servants comply with the simplicity of the law you're sworn to uphold in oblivion. Mail the names on prosecute silence. The address listed below. My name is Rochester, New York. You can watch me describe your pathetic existence as a six-figure deputy district attorney and six-figure public defender on YouTube. Then there are links here. The law's a joke to you, that's why. April 13th, 2026, for Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles, public defender Julie Cianca. May, June, July, August, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. 3 years ago, on April 13, 2023, I contacted Sheriff Todd Baggs, the District Attorney, said only via Gmail. Read it. That's attached in PDF. And I'm on here, April 13, 2023, and I have the language here where I'm saying, mail the names on process silence, the address below in Rochester. Read the 6 attached PDF documentation. Answer me about sexual harassment in your offices. Resign. April 7, 2026. Just a few days earlier, April of this year. Mail the names of these freak psychopaths responsible for prosecuting me in total silence. The address on the foil on my address. What you failed to understand the English language, taxpayers, subsidized public employees. As I arrive at the 157th word, this is called disclosure, simple disclosure, capiche. For prosecutors that delivered me to Monroe County Jail in Rochester, New York, Livingston County Jail, Genesee, New York, a total of 6 times without ever uttering a word in court. So, April 6, 2026, Perry Duckles, Mark Monahan of the District Attorney's Office here. I'm telling you, mail the names of your corrupt prosecutors have violated my civil and constitutional rights. The address listed in Farmington, New York. How am I just 6 times in Monroe County Jail, Rochester, New York, Livingston County Jail, Genesee, New York, when a prosecutor refuses to talk in court? It doesn't matter. So, here you are, Perry Duckles, on January 1, 2023. What day is it today, Perry Duckles? So, attached to PDF of 61-page Freedom of Information Law document dated December 20, 2022. That arrived in your office via UPS. This documentation also arrived December 22, 2022, December 26, 2022 via UPS was tracked. You have it. Then I go on here. Prosecutors never talked in court to me. Then I tell you to mail the names of my prosecutors, and includes the names of my prosecutors silence, mail them to me, and you didn't. So 61 Freedom of Information Law documents here. Perry Duckles, August 1, 2023. I wrote you and Julie Cianca on the same August 1, 2023. Here. I've been in jail 6 times. 6 times the prosecuting office has not talked to court to make an argument that I committed a crime. It's called insanity. It's insane for any citizen in New York to have a life destroyed by total silence in a courtroom by one corrupt judge. The reason the prosecutor never talked in court is simple. It's impossible to make an argument that I committed a crime. I'm convicted on paper by a fellow freaks, fanatics, sociopaths at the district attorney's office. I go on a few more graphs. Mail the names on process, silence the address, or email listed below my name. You refuse. That's exactly right. 3 years ago. I think I've been on YouTube 200 times, documentation around the district attorney's office. Read the last 2 graphs. I'm 58. I have 2 speeding tickets in my place of employment in Albany, New York, and Washington, D.C. prior to moving to Monroe County in 2012. Each was dismissed in court. I didn't suddenly become a criminal. I didn't suddenly lose the intellectual ability to determine right and wrong. I wasn't suddenly afflicted with a moral depravity. Can't separate legal from illegal. I'm trying to be part of justice being done. Perhaps you've heard this quite a throw. When it happens, I will fail. There's no justice for what has happened to me. Justice is a joke. Criminal complaints I've attached to PDS that are now in your office will be dismissed. There won't be one day in jail or court appearance for sociopaths, fanatics, freaks that destroy my life. You can hear my laptop microphones, those freaks and psychopaths that are speeding out there, violating all kinds of traffic laws on South Union Street. It's the minors on dirt bikes. So I don't know if you can hear what I can hear right here. My laptop microphone picks it up. But if you hear vehicles, then there's these freaks out here that are speeding, where RPD Chief David Smith doesn't enforce any traffic laws, where Sheriff Todd Baxter doesn't enforce any traffic laws because he's not in Rochester, New York, with his Monroe County Sheriff's Office. So, May 31, 2026, again, for you, Julie Cianca, attach a PDF of 3 free information law documents dated May 31, 2026. With this language, I go on here. You're paid for the language with the 3 foil names. You're paid $140,000 in taxpayer dollars for you to disclose information to me that's in your possession, electronic file, paper file. I've contacted you for 3+ years demanding you disclose the names of corrupt process signs of violating my civil constitutional rights, refused every time to comply with the law. I go on there with links. I've been on YouTube. I've been violently attacked repeatedly by Sheriff Todd Baxter's Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees. I now know I can take a beating because the skinhead schools is criminal. Those cars out there, there's a number of reasons why. There's the malfunctioning car, which should be ticketed. And then there's the car that's been enhanced for sound. Because males that are less than 40 years old in Rochester, New York, I'm trying not to laugh because it's not funny, get a perverted thrill out of the sound of their cars. And this is why my former employer, the New York State Legislature in 2021, passed legislation to make it illegal to enhance the sound of a vehicle, which Sheriff Todd Baxter ignores. I'm going to write the Freedom of Information Law for Sheriff Todd Baxter and RPD Chief David Smith about how many tickets have been issued for a vehicle that is either louder because of the way it is, because it's malfunctioning to be on the road, and how many vehicles have been enhanced because of the sound. And I don't know how you can tell the difference, but certainly a vehicle that is as loud as these vehicles that don't exist in Albany, New York, and Washington, D.C. should be ticketed, and at least half of them should be impounded. And Sheriff Todd Baxter says he doesn't enforce traffic laws. These same freaks and psychopaths and degenerates are out there on 490 and 590 going berserk and going nuts, just like they do on city streets. You don't see people driving the way they do on South Union Street and East Avenue, on East Main Street, on Park Avenue, on South Manning Boulevard. You do not see this in Washington, D.C. and Albany, New York. It does not happen. Because in Washington, D.C., in Albany, New York, are people who are normal, who are not psychopaths. They get a thrill out of the sound of their vehicles, and psychopaths who do not obey traffic laws. And Todd Baxter's in total oblivion about how unsafe the city is when this happens. The same thing with RPD Chief David Smith. When I write the Freedom of Information Law and send it to RPD Chief David Smith and Sheriff Todd Baxter, I'm going to have specific language about traffic infractions. And you know the number of speeding tickets that Sheriff Todd Baxter issues for citizens in Monroe County in calendar year 2025? It'll be 0. Do you know the number of speeding tickets RPD Chief David Smith issues for citizens in Rochester, New York for speeding? It'll be 0. Because I've never seen any vehicle pulled over by RPD or MCSO for a speeding ticket. And when I would drive around Albany, New York, where I lived in the city for 5 years and Albany County for 10 years, I would see in a normal way vehicles pulled over where the Albany Police Department was obviously issuing a speeding ticket or a warning. It's not a ticket every time, but certainly the vehicle was pulled over for speeding or some other traffic infraction. On South Union Street, they'll do you turn right out of here next to Arbor Loft, where they're urinating on Arbor Loft. On Friday night, 10, 15, 20 men are going to leave that parking lot from hell, where all these bars and restaurants are, and they're going to urinate right there in that Arbor Loft with the RPD vehicle right there on East Avenue, where he's not going to do anything because he's corrupt. That's why. That's why they're at East Avenue Wegmans all the time. A permanent 24/7 presence at East Avenue Wegmans where there are no criminals. I was in there 2 nights ago. I walked past the RPD at 10 o'clock at night. At 10 o'clock at night, I have a photograph of this too. There's the RPD vehicle. He's about 30 pounds overweight, this old man with a beard. He has a gray beard, black hair. And I'm thinking, right now on Avenue D and on Bauman Street and on North Clinton Avenue and right next to the Transit Center are the usual criminals in Rochester, New York. And here's this old man RPD officer, 20, 30 pounds overweight with the gray beard, parked in front of East Avenue Wegmans, which was empty. There was like 15 cars in there this late at night. Are you confused why I say the Rochester Police Department is corrupt, that they're freaks and psychopaths? And you are, because you're corrupt and you're freaks and psychopaths at the Public Defender's Office, District Attorney's Office, and Sheriff's Office. So, one judge, the corruption of Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney San Antonio, when I start to contact the New York State Legislature with documentation, I'm going to talk about this one judge and how state law needs to be changed about that. July 26, 2026. What is the status of the 5 criminal complaints I wrote for Richard Seegan, Nayron, Shelley, Laura Riley, Antonio Spano, Michael Hoonan? He just ignores the law is what he does. October 31, 2025, with Sheriff Todd Baxter, and then District Attorney Sandra Dorley before she resigned with disgrace. 2 years ago, on October 31, 2023, I contacted your Jonestown Office of Freaks, Criminals, Psychopaths, and Lunatics with this language. YouTube sham on Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Dorley, Judge Alex Renzi. Quote, attach a PDF of 27 free informational documents dated October 31, 2023 that force you to disclose information to me. This information closed my prosecutor's files, mail the names of my prosecutor's files, the address on the foil. I've been in jail 6 times. I'm Monroe County Jail in Rochester, New York, Livingston County Jail, Genesee, New York. 6 times a prosecutor and talk in court. I'm convicted on paper by lies, fantasy, and fiction because you're freaks. Because you're freaks. I haven't heard this AMR racket go by here yet, but I'm on here in 20 minutes, so there is no emergency. So, I continue here. What's not to understand? I've been prosecuted in total silence for criminal charges. You, Sheriff Todd Bass, concocted for me that is so ludicrous it reduces District Attorney Sandra Dooley's prosecutors to idiot silence. Idiot silence convicts me before a corrupt judge that doesn't know one fact of how I'm a defendant. Idiot silence convicts me before one corrupt judge that doesn't know one fact about how I'm a defendant, which is irrelevant to you with the District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office, Pembroke County Court, New York State Supreme Court, because I'm going to be in court again. It's just send me documentation to force me into Alex Renzi or some other super life old man psychopath. A reason why Alex Renzi behaves like he does and has no clue what's going on in his courtroom is his age, which is right around 70. So, Sandra Dooley, before she resigned in disgrace, November 25th, 2024, your insane refusal to comply with the Freedom of Information Law I writers for 40 plus years. When I am enforced at the Pembroke County Court, New York State Supreme Court by lies concocted by fake cops, the Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter, you assign a prosecutor to destroy me by prosecution in total silence. You will never understand the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Todd Baxter was a Jonestown, but you're wallowing in Jonestown for 32 years. A Jonestown always shatters the truth. This blindness to fundamental decency and integrity has destroyed you, and you are oblivious to the injustice that defines you. And I say, what's obvious to me, but not to her, is resign. Todd Blanche, who is now the Attorney General, because he has been confirmed and going from acting. This is extreme. Todd Blanche, October 22nd, 2025, 30 attachments I sent him. This is extreme as in the Empire State. I've never committed a crime. I don't have civil constitutional rights. In New York, I'll contact you with more information, and I did. So there's 30 attachments here. All these attachments to Todd Blanche, including July 15, 2023, about how Richard Seaman attacked me. His predecessor, Pam Boddy, I don't hear anything from her. I'm not surprised about that. She fell out of favor with President Donald Trump, and I was certainly taking pleasure in that because this year she just blows me off. The United States Department of Justice is completely indifferent to corrupt cops, and that's the way this Todd Blanche, who's now the Attorney General, is going to be. It does not matter. They don't investigate corrupt cops. I'm going to send Attorney General Todd Blanche 2,000 documents, and he's going to ignore every single one. He's not going to send anybody to Monroe County to investigate the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter, the Rochester Police Department of David Smith, because I've had direct contact with both of these repulsive Jonestown bureaucracies. I've not talked about ever yet on YouTube about my interaction with the Rochester Police Department, but I will, because it's the Lunatic Fringe. Because the Lunatic Fringe is an excellent two-word description of the Rochester Police Department, where I'm not in jail because of them. But Lunatic Fringe is how they behave, always. August 25th, 2025. This is about my DD-214. I already read that. I'm not going to read that again. I don't have my DD-214. Here's my DD-214 that I have for 40 years. San Antonio Spawn Law Ride. Does not matter. Sheriff Todd Baxter at all. The 2 people confiscated my DD-214 with a legal eviction. And then I tell him on April 4th, 2026, where I'm in Farmington, New York, because Mort Properties at 434 Oxford Street locked me out without a court order, just like Antonio Spano Fairport, New York, locked me out with a court order. Landlords can do whatever they want, smash the tenant into a million pieces in New York, and the psychopath cops or local police department, sheriff's office ignore it every single time. Todd Baxter, April 4th, I don't have my original DD-214 because of you. How am I jailed 6 times on prosecution used to make an argument in Pembroke County Court, New York State Supreme Court, I committed crimes because you reside. So again, for you, Julie Cianca, May 25th, 2026, 2+ months ago, you know what I hear from you? Nothing. It's 2 months. Attached PDF of 3 Freedom of Information Law documents dated May 25th, 2026 with this language, the same language I just read. Where I write in this short graph, you possess this information. Mail the names of my prosecutors that have violated my civil and constitutional rights. Yeah, just blow my name. What's not to understand? You refuse insanely. When I send this to the disciplinary committees about you, Julie Cianca, well, I'm hoping you're not disciplined. I'm hoping you're disbarred. And if you're asked, this citizen wrote to you on May 25th, 2026, that you possess this information. If you're asked this question, is he incorrect? Do you not possess this information? This is the answer I believe that can disbar you. Because if you lie, you possess this information. If you lie and say, no, I'm confident you can be disbarred, because you obviously do. If you say yes to this, you possess this information, but you're not going to send it to me. This is how I'm confident you can be disbarred. And I could also be incorrect, because I don't have the arrogance. I'm right about everything. Yes or no to this answer here. When I say you possess this information, you, Julie Cianca, are asked by any disciplinary committee, is this true? Your answer, yes or no, is a disaster for you. Six-figure psychopath. If, in fact, a real disciplinary committee exists and wants to see what you're doing. Because the Monroe County Legislature, unbeknownst to you, is your disciplinary committee, Julie Cianca. So, Julie Cianca, here, August 1, 2023, what are the names of my prosecutor silence? You know. Real simple. In the fourth graph. What are the names of my prosecutor silence? You know. $140,000. Julie Cianca. Again, disciplinary committees. For disbarment. Because here's April 2nd, 2023. Silence of Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca. If you're asked by a disciplinary committee, did you get this? Well, you didn't get it in the mail because you're returning my mail, but I emailed it to your Gmail, and I'm reading here now. And you could be told by one of these other sociopaths, the district attorney's office, that I'm talking about you here at 26 minutes. Where I have to get off of here soon because I could throw up when I'm on here for more than 30 minutes. And I'm not exaggerating. When I have to use your names, I'm using your names over and over, which I'm going to do again here because this is July 16, 2026, just a month ago. April 13, 2026, same thing here again. So over and over, I'm telling you to disclose this information to me. And you're refusing. Sheriff Todd Baxter, this is where I am. 270 Sandwich Seatman over here. Tell him to run at me, slam me in the head, have him violently attack me. Tell him to go nuts, go crazy, go berserk, because you love your employees that are crazy, nuts, and berserk. So tell him to come over here, violently attack me. Tell Michael Houlihan to wait out there, too, and tell Michael Houlihan that I'm supposed to run at him and chase poor little Michael Houlihan, this victim, with a hammer. Because if it's true what he said, but it's a lie, hypothetically, if it's true, he should be fired anyway, because that's incompetence. I'm running away from this Michael Houlihan and Don Benedetto at midnight where I'm not committing a crime. And they're chasing me up onto my back porch, and they have to come up with a lie, Michelle Crowley, District Attorney Brian B. Green. They have to come up with a reason because they're probably thinking once they're outside and I'm inside. We're here at midnight at the Citizens Residence 26 Sanders Farm Drive, Christopher Chichester in Penfield, New York, and he may contact Sheriff Todd Baxter and Monroe County Sheriff's Office about what we're doing here. So this is what happened. Michael Houlihan and Don Benedetto decided the lie is going to be I swung a hammer at him. When if I swung a hammer at him, I have to stop and pivot on my right or left foot. Most likely my right foot because I'm right-handed. And the hammer that I just grabbed 5 seconds early is in my hand. So if to swing a hammer, I have to stop on my foot and then swing it at him. And Michael Houlihan and Don Benedetto, who were 5 feet away from me, would have ran into me. And if you would have called me to the grand jury where I'm your ham sandwich, Michelle Crowley, that's exactly what I would have said. Does it matter, Brian P. Green? Do you want her in your district attorney's office? This repulsive Kool-Aid drinker, Michelle Crowley, alienated from the truth, who will believe every single lie from the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Rochester Police Department. Michelle Crowley would. And will. So the Freedom of Information Law is going to start to arrive, where I'm going to set 80 to Todd Baxter, because these are all blank. I think there are 300. I'm going to start to write these day after day. It's going to be 80, 80, 80, like his out-of-state travel. Because he sent $163,000 Michael Fowler and $155,000 Corey Brown out of New York to a conference. Ridiculous. What's the out-of-state travel for the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Monroe County District Attorney's Office? I mean, does it matter that these are junkets and Todd Baxter is funding junkets for his employees? Because Corey Brown and Michael Fowler have definitely been on a junket. So, Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca, what's not to understand as I'm talking to you? Because you should easily understand what I'm talking about. $140,000 Public Defender Julie Cianca. Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. What are the names of my prosecutors? You refuse to answer. And that's a disgrace. It's an abomination, and it's why you're unethical. Your subordinates at the Public Defender's Office, Mark Phillips and Regina Harper, refused to disclose the names of my prosecutor's silence. They sent the envelopes back to me that I sent to your office. I'm going to put these envelopes in a box and I'm going to mail them to you, Julie Cianca, and sign for it. I have contacted the United States Attorney for the Western District of New York, Trini Ross. I've contacted Attorney General Merrick Garland using registered mail return receipt. I've contacted the Officer Kathy Hochul. And I've informed these officers that have regulatory power and control over tiebacks with Sandra Dorley that I have been in jail 6 times, and 6 times the prosecutor's not talked in court. Julie Cianca, if a citizen anywhere in the United States of America is to be delivered to jail, should a prosecutor talk in court? Does a prosecutor talk in court? The answer, Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca, is yes. What is wrong with you? Because I have now contacted you via YouTube. There is something wrong with you, and what's wrong with you is you're corrupt and unethical. It's not an exaggeration, it's not hyperbole, and I'll prove it right now. What are the names of my prosecutors? Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca. You refuse to answer, that's why you're corrupt, that's why you're unethical. That's why Mark Phillips is corrupt and unethical. That's why Regina Harper is corrupt and unethical. What you are at the Public Defender's Office are de facto employees of the District Attorney's Office of Sandra Dorley. And you're in fear of the District Attorney's Office of Sandra Dorley, and that's why you refuse to disclose the names of my prosecutors of silence. If there was anybody in your family, Julie Cianca, that was in jail without a prosecutor talking in court, I guarantee you're going to demand justice for your family member. Do the lives of others matter? Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca, the answer is no. On this TikTok, you also see a separate one for Perry Duckles, and he's going to do the same thing you're going to do. You want ethical corrupt act, Julie Cianca, is he's going to refuse to disclose the names of my prosecutors as well. 6 times I've been in jail, 6 times a prosecutor has to talk to court, and that's because of these disgusting acts of Pembroke Town Court, Paul C. Metzer and John P. Mendoza Jr., and then I was elevated to Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court. Look at my face, Public Defender Julie Cianca. Mail the names of my prosecutors silenced to Christopher.Chichester at mail.com. Do you understand me? Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca? Am I being perfectly clear?
Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca. Mail the names of my prosecutor's silence to Christopher.Chichester at mail.com. And you will refuse. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I've been an innocent man my whole life.